hooked the playing for Crossfire and I play.
Awalnya saya bermain Crossfire itu mencoba untuk bermain game baru dari game saya yang sebelumnya. Bermain Crossfire itu saya bercoba untuk berkompetisi dan sampai sekarang saya akhirnya bermain dengan berprestasi seperti ini.
最开始是在家里面嘛，然后传火焰内测的时候，我有一些好的哥们儿和同学在玩，通过他们在玩这个游戏，然后我才开始知道这个游戏，然后我才跟他们一起玩的。
I think it changed my life because when you win in every tournament of Crossfire, you have money. So I think it changed my life. Crossfire changed my life.
Saya merasa mungkin lebih banyak teman di permainan ini. Saya lebih merasakan bekerja bersama-sama dengan teman juga. Bagaimana menjadi tim yang lebih baik.
信任嘛，这款游戏是一款团队游戏，然后我们5个人在团队里面扮演着各种角色嘛。这个团队一起去参加比赛，必须要5个人相互信任，然后这样的话才能就是说比赛才可以胜利。包括现实里面5个人生活在一起，有很多细节啊，要互相包容队友啊，或者说他们来包容我的一些不好的一点。所以说，我觉得这个游戏，让我学会了特别多的东西。我在传火焰里面打了这么多年吧，然后从一个小孩儿打到现在也26、27岁了嘛。我衷心的希望这款游戏越来越好，我们大家越来越好。
Mungkin di tahun-tahun berikutnya turnamen seperti CFS ini lebih diperbanyak mungkin karena di Indonesia sendiri turnamen sebesar ini hanya 1 tahun 1 kali seperti itu. Mungkin bisa ditambahkan.
I think for me, Crossfire is, thank you Crossfire, because Crossfire changed my life.
That was a very quick best of one to start things off.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way it could have been quicker, really. 10-0, you can't ask for much more if you're a Rue Legends. Streak with a 1v4 to start things off, I think really set the tempo for that entire map. And unfortunately for Jacosav, we're going to have to wait until potentially their next match before they're even able to get anything on the board.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing for them, Ian, but still, they have their lower bracket game to go up against, so now they can prepare and watch the rest of the matches. See how it plays out.
I feel like we talked a little bit longer than the game actually went for, so but at least we got to cover off the rest of the tournament. I don't think that's going to be the case for this next game. I think it's going to be very close.
Yeah, EVA Team from Vietnam and Execration coming from the Philippines. These two teams, we've had a chat amongst our group, we've had a chat in the wide area. Everyone seems to feel that this is going to be a bit of a tough battle.
Well, it's definitely going to be a little bit closer than our last match, at least is the expectation. And these two regions, the Vietnamese region and the Philippines region, have generally considered or been considered some of the stronger regions within CROSSFIRE. Last year, second place was EVA Team from the Vietnamese region, and third place was Pacific Makta from the Philippines region. And so I think these two regions definitely are high caliber regions, definitely regions that we're expecting to see go fairly deep in these tournaments. Maybe not necessarily these particular teams, although in the case, I guess, of EVA Team, that's definitely what the expectation is. But for Execration, the question is a little bit more as to how they're going to perform in this tournament.
But when we look at Execration, right, they came through, they're here because they topped the group in the Philippines. They come through, they won their regional championship, and that's considering the caliber of
Mark,
yeah, exactly.
Lara.
That's quite a large accomplishment.
Yeah, absolutely. Two very strong nations. I mean, and you could say the same for EVA Team as well. They've got Boss just hot on their tail there as well. So look, we're definitely dealing with two very strong nations. You know, these guys also probably would have versed each other quite often this year as well because of just the close proximity of the two. You know, being able to come to multiple CROSSFIRE events throughout the years. EVA Team, you know, they've been the semi-finalists from last year as well. So, yeah. Yeah.
You okay?
Yep.
Okay. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about 18, Jordan? How are you feeling about these?
I actually was surprised at their performance last year. I didn't pick them to go that far. I certainly didn't think that they had that kind of caliber, being a team that, we really hadn't seen too much from in the lead up to that year. But now we have a bit more of an expectation. They've come through with a completely unchanged roster as well from last year. So definitely a team that we look to, maybe not necessarily to make the finals. You know, I don't think it's fair to say, I think EVA Team is going to be in the finals this year. There's a lot of strong teams in this competition, but I definitely think that this is a team that actually does get out of this group. We're talking about Group C now as well.
That's a tough group,
which is a very, very tough group. And I don't think they're going to go out in first. I think that is going to be AG from China.
Okay.
But I do think that EVA Team is going to be the next best team in this group.
What are your thoughts here? Because we got through the first two groups at the start of last game. Group C, we said it was the group of death. How are you feeling about EVA Team's chances?
Well, EVA Team coming out of this group, look, like Jordan said, they were a dark horse last year. I don't think anyone will be taking them lightly, and I think that might even impact their chances getting out of the group. We do have all gamers in there as well, so I think up against the likes of Black Dragon, I'm not going to come through and say these guys are definitely going to make it through. I think anything can happen. Best of ones, like we said, 2 of those, but obviously, geez, they just looked so good last year. I'd hate to rule them out.
Well, that's it, isn't it? That's a bit of an interesting point that you do actually bring up. If in 1 year you outperform, if you overperform based on everyone else's expectations, and maybe people didn't prepare for you as well as they could have, people didn't take you seriously, and it does give you an advantage. This time around, Jordan, they're coming through with the same roster. People know what to expect from them now. I don't think anyone's going to be taking EVA Team lightly.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the 2 teams in the entire tournament that has an unchanged roster, the other being Kauai. And I do think that is quite an advantage. You do have that extra time to get synergized with your team, and obviously these guys have been together for quite a long time, so they're going to understand the nuances of each other's play. With a result like the one that they did achieve last year, again, they're going to have the confidence to come back into another year of CROSSFIRE competition and be able to essentially bully some of the weaker teams that they may go up against. Now, unfortunately, they haven't gotten a weaker group. You know, if you were to put EVA Team into Group A or Group B, I think at least in Group A, you might even make a good argument that they could come out in first place. But this one, we talk about AG, we talk about Black Dragons here for Group C. I mean, Execration, in theory, for EVA Team here, should actually be their easiest opponent And if they aren't able to get a good win here, then that really does lead us some more questions later on down the track as to how the other matches in this group are going to go and whether it is actually going to be EVA Team, whether our assumptions are going to be correct or whether CROSSFIRE has another curveball for us.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And I guess the other thing here is when you do talk about a group of death, if you make it out of there, then puts you in a very good position heading into quarterfinals, heading into semi-finals, when you know you're not going to see some of those other top teams that were already in their group. As we move across to their opponents, Execration from the Philippines, as we said, this team has come through. The Philippines, again, is not an easy region to come out of as the top team. They've come through as the #1 team. They must be feeling relatively confident based on their previous accomplishments, but now it's a tough stage to play on here, isn't it, Ian?
Oh, definitely. But I mean, they've been here before as well. Some of the players, I think, if I remember correctly, Cart. He was one of the
Cart was definitely here.
One of the best players. For, I think they were called Reborn GT back then. They were,
well, if you remember, Cart actually played for Pacific Magda last year.
True. That's where I'm.
So that's where you remember him from.
So he was a gun, right? So look, he'll be telling the rest of the Execration guys, you know, we're in with a chance. You know, I've been here before. This is all you need to do. This is how I prepare mentally. And I think that carry that across to the rest of the Execration guys. And obviously, like we said, they've come from such a difficult region. They're so battle hardened already. You know, so EVA Team can't take them too lightly. I don't think this will be a repeat of what we just saw.
Well, that's I think that's good news for everyone. Absolutely. Look.
Except for the map.
Do you have a favourite coming into this, Jordan?
Well, I would probably be putting my lot in with EVA Team for this match. I don't think it's going to be an easy match for them, so to speak. I definitely don't think it's going to be a 10-0 again. But I do think that they should, in theory, comfortably win this. I think the caliber is there, the pedigree is there, the experience is there for EVA Team, where it might not necessarily so much be there for Execration. The only player on that roster that has performed or has played at last year's CROSSFIRE Grand Finals was Cart for Pacific Magda, and while he does, of course, have that third place finish, EVA Team have got the second place finish for all 5 of their members. So I do think there's a little bit more that sort of leads us to think that EVA Team might have a better performance today.
Ian, do you agree with this?
Look,
do you ever want to agree with Jordan, really?
Well, this is one where coming into this game, if we had our eyes closed, we'd say, yeah, sure, EVA Team will win easily. But, you know, again, the Philippines, Pacific Magda. So I'm going to go with Execration. I'm just going to be the Ben Green of the day.
Okay.
And do that underdog upset win. I want to see something. I don't want to see another 10-0 for sure.
Well, that's it. I suspect we're certainly not going to be seeing a 10-0. It makes me happy to see both of you picking different options here. For me, it's a very tough one. I've come into the tournament saying that I felt that maybe EVA Team they had the potential just to go one step further than last year. And ladies and gents, this is where it all begins.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if they're going to be able to pick up a win in the entire tournament in the grand final, it definitely has to start with this match here against Execration. You know, there's certainly a lot of strong teams in this tournament, and Execration is one of them. But one could make a very good argument that there is going to be many more steps ahead of EVA Team here than just Execration. You know, we have yet to see them play against, for example, All Gamers, who are even tipped to potentially be the strongest team coming into this tournament. So for EVA Team, we want a good start here for them if they're going to go deep in this tournament.
Just something to keep in mind. We saw a shot of the stage before. These two teams are just across from each other, no more than maybe 12 feet. And the thing to remember is, do you remember how loud EVA Team were?
They were very loud.
Inside their booth?
Yeah.
Now they're not in a booth, and they're just directly across from their opponents.
I'm sure we'll be able to hear it.
I want to hear it. We're going to hear some screaming and some smack talk, I reckon.
Yeah, already a good start for Execration as Charlito has found the first kill. Double sniper set up for them to start things off here. EVA going to go for a bit of an aggressive push here on the defensive side, looking for some info now that they are in a 4v5, and Botcons has got himself in a nice little nook.
Yeah, I remember seeing this one. It catches a couple of people off guard, but again, it's a one-and-done position, Jordan. Cart now, look at that. He's already trying to flush him out of there, but that grenade just goes a little bit too far.
Hasn't done too much damage to him. Aries will grab an AK now instead of that sniper rifle, so
they know he's here. They've seen his gun. Can he get more than just one? Botcon's doing great work.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Fantastic work from Botcons. Gets some backup as well from Bean.
Yeah. And that's exactly the idea for EVA Team. That's exactly what they wanted to do. Charlito is on the other side of the map at the moment, not going to be able to do too much about it. But Botcons was the bait, and he actually managed to get 3 for himself. Great work as well from Bean to chime in at the right time.
That's what you want when you set up a bait like that. You know, you've got to push into this corner. He knows his position is known when that grenade comes in, calls in for reinforcements, and the team back him up. Now it looks like a completely different round.
Yeah, so far so good for EVA Team. Charlito, well, let's see what he can actually manage with this sniper. It's not out of the realms of possibility. We saw it from Treek. But he's been spotted now.
Yeah. Interesting to see if he can retrieve that bomb and get towards the B site. But as you can see there, EVA Team got it locked down.
Good start. Very solid round. And if that is anything to go by, we may see EVA Team put on a bit of a show today. But Execration will not be too keen on that. Obviously, it's only 1 round, so not the end of the world. Again, we're going to see a very similar setup from Execration to start things off. Double snipers at the start of the round, looking for the picks.
A little bit interesting. But they have got full control of long. Middle, though, is taken over by EVA Team with botcons once again. So now it'll be up to Camero here just to find out what's going over on towards that B site. Very aggressive by Bean as well. I remember seeing, you know, that very rare crossfire we got to see in here where one person's on top of the boxes and one person is below, but I might catch them off guard. I don't know if they will flash into that room. Bean decides better of it though. Based on the timing, will fall back.
Yeah, not a lot of damage, or any damage really at all, done by the grenade. For now, Execration haven't really committed to anything just yet. Backing away toward middle, maybe working their way toward the B-bomb side if we keep our eyes on the C4. At the moment, it is in mid.
Yeah, we saw this a lot from the tactical teams as well, where they like to flush out the entire map before they strike somewhere.
Well, it looks like EVA Team have the perfect setup for what Execration is going to be running into this bridge. Kukon will start off well as Modern does drop. Already the first player in the favour of EVA Team. Kukon will push on forward and he'll get traded out. Botcons caught with a grenade in his hand, but can't land the shots. Botcons, no one can land the shots apparently, as both of them managed to get out of there alive. Inevitably, Botcons does fall to his death, and it's just Maxim. He'll try and clutch out this 1v4. 1 down, but 1 is not enough. The round will go the way of Execration. That was a little bit ludicrous.
So the instant reply there from Execration, and we can hear just how loud the EVA Team are getting and Execration. So this will definitely be a very loud game for the players. I'm gonna drop the bomb down in the T-spawn. Oh, in the T-spawn, good one, mate. In the offensive spawn there, just for global risk, and that means they're gonna flush out the map once again. They're gonna try and get some territory around the map, and they're gonna come back later and retrieve that. But what happened last time in that first round, Execration had left the bomb in the middle of the map, and that allowed EVA Team to get control of it. So they don't want to do that again this time while they're doing their exploring.
Yeah, EVA Team definitely having a bit more of a struggle in this round.
Yeah, see, they're trying to put their best foot forward, right? They're trying to assert some dominance, but they're on the defensive team, and Execration, like we saw in that first round, are just waiting and being very patient, and those pushes coming through are actually punishing EVA Team.
Yeah, so for EVA Team, perhaps a better idea is just to play a bit more passively back in their sights, hold on to some of the utility until the late round. Kart is going to be able to spot out Kukon, sneaking through the smoke, catching him off guard. This is looking fantastic for Execration right now. 5v2. Feels like there's almost no chance they should drop the round from here, but Maxim does get 1. Should be traded out here by Ares, and will. Great timing, as he's going to spot Rambo out as well and finish things off.
There you go. So Execration getting a great start into this game. Obviously, starting off the round in a 5 vs 3 is always going to end up in your favour, but well, not always. We did see that 1 vs 4 clutch in the previous game, but the numbers are with you, and that's what you need sometimes. Kukon now under a bit of pressure. Bomb still left in the global risk spawn. Ooh. Gets away with that wide peak, Modern, but eventually falls.
Yeah, the 2-for-1 at the moment. Botcons is in a very precarious position here, though, and needs to really fight his way out. Has been able to do that. Actually survives. Falls back into the site to the safety of his teammates. Great stuff from Botcons and from Kukon, who started that one off well. EVA Team happy with how this is progressing at the moment, as it's a 2v4. Ares and Charlito very split up at the moment as well. It looks like Charlito will just wait to see if there is going to be a push for information from EVA Team.
Yeah, well, they've retrieved the bomb, so that's a great start. But again, like you're saying, Charlito is out on his own, so he might be trying to cause a diversion in the moment for Ares to get up short into A. But Rambo, we saw how good he was with the, particularly with the sniper last year. But so far, Botcons has retrieved it. They can hold on. Charlito needs to cause a distraction. Still 1 minute and 14 left on the clock, so plenty of time. Once they deal with Rambo, they'll be able to get the bomb down, but Oh, nice. Charlito looking for something else, finds it.
And that's going to put some chaos in the ranks of EVA Team now because they're not sure exactly where the bomb is going to be going. Aries starting to make his way into the A site at the moment, having a look into window. Hasn't spotted anyone out there, but there certainly is a player sneaking around from EVA Team. Rambo taking a bit of a chunk. Will take the peek here, but Charlito forces him back. Still a 3v2, still favorable for EVA Team. You got to make this retake work, and Aries trying to force the issue will go down. That gives Rambo some room. Charlito will be able to find the kill with the AWP, turns it into a 2v1. Will eventually be traded back down by Bean, and EVA Team will secure the 2 apiece.
So again, a very close game from the start so far. And EVA Team just dealing with that right, doing everything right. They're using their number advantage perfectly. Charlito trying to get a lot of work done, but unfortunately just couldn't find the shot there towards the end. Bean with a nice, sharp execution to him. Now here we go with maybe a fast mix-up pace strategy here. Execration going to head up short very quickly with Charlito heading up long on his own. Oh no, he's got a teammate with him.
Well, flashes go in, but Botcons is too strong. 2 kills for him already. We'll get a bit of backup from a grenade from one of his teammates, but eventually does fall. Kukon looking to retrieve control again of short, but can't. Doing a number to EVA Team. It's a 3v2 at the moment, and everyone is screaming. Everyone needs to convey some information as the A bomb site is starting to be collapsed upon by Execration. However, the bomb being dropped, can't going down. It's just the sniper of Charlito left. Certainly seems to be having an impact right now. However, he has been flanked from the back, and Maxim finishes it off. And that is going to be another round for EVA Team.
Beautiful work there again. EVA Team just hitting their shots despite Execration with the sharp spear heading into each of the bomb sites. But again, we'll leave the bomb down as we clear out long, and this time Execration get a great start into the round. Tell you what, EVA Team need to be careful here when they mess with Cart and so on in that middle. They're really not getting the best of it.
It definitely seems like Cart and Charlito are the strong points at the moment for Execration. So that's what you need to be shutting down as EVA Team. Botcons once again looking for the push into mid. Just get himself in the cubby hole.
Kukon's there as well, don't forget. And they're 2 very strong players, I think. I think that's really the 2 stars of this team, Botcons and Kukon. Rambo, of course, he's very good sometimes, Bean as well, but just those 2 in particular are really strong.
I would agree. I think Botcons and Kukon were the ones that we really talked most about last year. For EVA Team to go that deep again, they'll need some star players to rise up.
Looks like potentially we got a tech issue here.
It may be.
Seems
Seems like it.
Lagged out a little bit, so probably try and sort that one out ASAP. But so far, it's been a cracking match.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly a lot closer than our last one. I mean, that was kind of what we hoped for.
But on paper, I mean, you can see why this is the group of death now, right? Like, if you're going to say that the Execration team is the weakest team in the group, then there's a real issue for every other team if they're going to come up against EVA Team early on. Maybe if Execration win, you know, that's an upset waiting to happen. So, yeah, I think there's definitely no resting on laurels, as you like to say, for any of these teams in groups.
Definitely not. I mean, we've seen great stuff from Black Dragons as well, and All Gamers. I mean, there's so much to say about them as well, being the Pro League champions for Season 13. They won in Manila in 2016 at the Invitational as well. They had their fair share of tough matches there as well, so I definitely don't think they're a team that's going to be necessarily worried about being in a strong group, or essentially if they lose their first match, I don't think that's going to bother them too much. They will still be able to grind their way through the lower bracket. But for every single team in this group, such a tough one. And I was actually talking to one of the guys that we've been working with here in China, and I asked him, who do you think is going to win this year? Because last year he was quite adamant that it was going to be Super Valiant, and he got that right. So I said, is it going to be Super Valiant again this year? He said he didn't think so, and he thought that the winner of Group C, or the first place team out of Group C, would be the eventual champion. So could potentially be one of these 2 teams that we do end up seeing through.
Interesting. So he's not ruling out Black Dragons there either. So that's a lot of respect.
Well, Black Dragons have already shown the ability to be able to complete a victory at any given tournament. That was in Vietnam, to be fair, but they were the first team to be able to get a tournament win over a Chinese team, and so pretty impressive stuff from them.
And then, of course, you've got All Gamers as well.
And they were the CFEL champions from Season 1 and 2 as well. And yeah, exactly. All Gamers is the real... I think All Gamers there might be more hype coming in around all gamers at the moment than there actually is for Super Valiant. And potentially that is because of the loss of Emzen for Super Valiant. I think that is such a key factor for that roster.
He was such a good player for them last year and pulled them out of a lot of disastrous situations and really propelled them in that game against SCDX.
Yeah, I mean, but when you look at this All Gamers roster, they also have quite a lot of players that have been around for a very long time. Yep. TF, the sniper player for the roster, considered one of the best. At least when I was watching them in Manila in 2016, that was the word that was going around. So if he's going to be able to continue that against some of the strong snipers in this tournament, obviously a lot of pedigree for the All Gamers roster. They've all been around for quite a long time. And I mean, it's such an exciting time to be at the first day of the tournament where literally anything can happen as we get to watch the storylines kind of progress through. And once we get to day 5 on Sunday, we'll be thinking, hey, you know, that all makes sense now in hindsight. But whatever we see here is part of the
it's part of history, isn't it? And I think when we get to that grand final in Nanjing as well, I think that's when we're going to be able to look back on the group stages and say, look, this is how the teams are actually performing at this point in time, you know. This is where things are at. This is how things are going to be. And I think these guys here, BotCon's there on the screen, and the rest of the Vietnamese players for EVA Team, they're the guys that I'm looking to say, look, was last year a fluke.
He's got a tattoo on his arm that says BotCon. You see that?
Is that a tattoo, or is it just,
has he written it on his arm?
He would have to be, right-handed as possible.
I feel like you wouldn't just write your name on your arm, surely.
Oh, you would. Depends, you know, if it was a long bus.
Okay.
Long bus ride or not. If you had your pencil case handy.
Maybe. Well, nonetheless, that's, I guess, who he is. So now we know.
Is it? Maybe it's...
Yeah, maybe it's like someone else and they've written BotCons on his...
Maybe it's like a team building exercise. You like tattoo your teammates. You know, teammates for life. Brothers in arms.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are all getting a little bit ready for the game. So I think we should be underway fairly shortly. There we go. Perfect timing. 3-2 right now for EVA Team as we head into what will be the 6th round.
It's easy to get the timing right when you've got the button to start the game, Jordan. So keep that illusion going, I suppose. But forward aggressive stance there by EVA Team on the defense. But Maxim cops a bit of damage and has to fall back. Air is now trying to fake the presence of Cart. Con's very aggressive and gets punished.
Yeah, EVA Team, they really seem to want to challenge that stairs position. Every single time we see someone from Execration sort of probing that area, a responding player from EVA Team just pushes on forward. I think it may be starting to get a little bit predictable here for Execration as they've managed to find a kill there a few times in a row. Kukon does get the better of Cart though, so bringing it back to a 4v4, but Maxim is down to all but 1 HP. And may not be lasting too much longer in this round. The smoke does go down. Aries will have an idea of where Kukon is as a result. Ooh, the timing shot, though, for Kukon will pay off.
And 3-on-3 situation ensues. 2 on the A bomb side. Oh, actually 4. I didn't realize there's a 4th player alive for EVA Team on a slither of health. Maxim there just sitting. Look at that, Jordan. Just a feather of health. And now still being given the job of holding that B bomb site on his lonesome. Very split up here. Execration, though, get punished.
Through the smoke, Kukon's going to be able to find one. He's spotted another and very keen to take the battle as he pushes on forward. But again, falling into the trap of Execration. Pushes it back to a 2v2. An advantageous situation for EVA Team has been swept away.
Well, they wanted to hold the bomb. They got the bomb carrier down and then continued to push on through like in the earlier rounds. And that's where they got punished. Rambo, oh, the timing. Charlito, though, misses that shot. Bit of an easy one.
We'll get out okay, though. So for now, no harm done. Knows that there is going to be a player toward the B bomb site, and so...
Maxim just needs to hide as long as he can and try and allow the Execration players into the A site.
Well, he's not actually playing in the window, which is where you typically expect a player to be, but Execration aware of that little trick, and Maxim goes down very quickly indeed.
A lot of pressure on Rambo here to keep this game close.
Well, he spotted one out. That's going to be Chalito going down. Has to find another. His position, of course, is known.
Hero. He's got the positioning on Rambo. Completely outsmarts him. So, great round from Execration there. And you wouldn't think they're up against the finalists from last year.
No, definitely not. I think EVA Team is being caught a little bit by their own aggression in this matchup. I think if they were to play a little bit more passive, slow down a little bit, think things over, they may not get caught out in those crossfires that Execration are setting up, but EVA Team, unbridled aggression, continuing to push on forward.
Yep. I guess it still is 3-3, isn't it, Jordan?
It's not the end of the world, is it?
No. You can see here another strategy of a four-man hit squad just grouping up in the global risk spawn. Pushing down towards middle, 3 players ready for trades. Modern just above them on the catwalk. Get taken down. No trade. Botcon's too good.
Trades back from Execration, does turn it into a 2v3. But Botcon's locking down this position, going to make life difficult for Execration in mid. A 1-for-1, that's still going to be favorable for EVA Team. They do have the extra player available right now. Cholito has been impressive throughout this map so far, but
Where that presence of Maxim just on the flank.
he gets spotted through the floorboards there, but appears unlikely, or perhaps Rambo has held his fire for the moment. Getting up close onto the site, Cholito missing a shot, so too was Maxim.
Very intelligent play by Cholito here to reposition after being spotted out by Rambo. He's actually been playing these clutches perfectly. Going to catch EVA Team off guard once again. Maxim now being asked to step up. We'll get the bomb down. Difficult bomb site to retake the B bomb site. See this if Cholito goes for an aggressive peek to try and catch him out. Try and catch out Maxim on the rotate.
Doesn't look like it. He's just repositioned himself post-plant in maybe not where you would ordinarily consider the player to be.
That might just work out perfectly then, won't it?
Maxim having a look in though. See if he's actually going to be able to spot him out.
Made a lot
there
of
we
noise.
go.
Yep.
And Maxim knows that he needs to try and push the issue here. He's only got 13 seconds, so he has to find this frag, and he won't. It's going to be another round on the board for Execration.
Execration just know as well. EVA Team, you know, they're the finalists from last year, so they're going to go for that kill, aren't they? They're not even going to attempt to try and tap the bomb and lure you out and play mind games with you. They're in the opinion that they're better. They're just going to go in and try and get those kills. And it's not possible this time. Execration playing it perfectly as the underdog.
I'm actually getting a bit of a sense that from what we've watched so far, I actually feel like Execration are the better team in this matchup. It's 4-3 early to say, but the way that they're playing this match out definitely seems very, very good. Cart opening up. Camaro, another one. EVA Team falling by the wayside a little bit in this round. Modern fully flashed. Can't see the player right next to him, but he's been backed up nicely by his team. And Bean is the last alive for EVA Team. That is a huge round, as you can hear, for Execration.
And they know it as well, because this is their opportunity to stretch that lead out now. Get that last round and try and prove to EVA Team, you know, put them up against it. You guys were here last year, but you're going to have to try a lot harder. This might not be a great map for EVA Team as well. We've got to keep that in mind. True. So a lot of utility going out towards middle might cause a rotation from EVA Team. Yeah, they're getting very aggressive on short once again, Jordan.
Not a bad grenade. Quite a few of the Execration players being tagged down fairly low.
Still 1 bullet headshots though with the AK. That would be the aim.
Well, Kukon very close to this smoke. At least it's 2 players set up here now for EVA Team rather than just the one.
Interestingly, that smoke has halted all of their progress.
A bit of the positioning being given away there by EVA Team. Botcons with it all to do, and he'll only get 2. Not sure that that's enough here, as Execration will continue to press into the A bomb site. This is the explosion they wanted. And they want another one by getting that bomb down. Rambo, however, has other ideas. 2 kills and a third. Shutting all 3 down.
He was just hiding there behind the pillar.
He's a one-man army.
Great work by Rambo. Again, with that sniper, as I said, very impactful for them last year. So we'll just wait for the teams to swap over. Happens, but a good comeback there from EVA Team towards the end. See, there were some real highlights for that last half. Cart in particular, getting up short early on. Those clutches as well by Charlito and Camiro.
I think that one from Charlito was the most impressive.
Yep. Just completely read their minds, so to speak.
I don't know who I'm ready to say is going to win this match, but as I
Early
said
days.
earlier, I still sort of feel as though Execration have been playing it out a little better than EVA Team.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I think EVA Team were just a little overconfident. You
Yeah.
know, Botcon's getting into those forward positions. Kukon not close enough to trade out. They do look a little disappointed, to be honest. They don't seem their normal cheery selves. So it'll be interesting to see if they, on the looks on their faces, they're not happy with that first half.
I don't think either team can be hugely disappointed, nor can either team be particularly happy about that. End of the day, that is about as close as it's going to get for both. Lots of thinking to do now for EVA Team. I mean, if you are the second place team last year and then you lose your first match, what does that say about your chances in the next year of competition?
Oh, how fast they fall. You know, when you're at the top, there's only one place to go.
Yeah.
And that's down. But EVA Team haven't really reached the top yet, the pinnacles. They still were defeated by Super Valiant in that stunning game, where it did look so many times like EVA Team was going to run away with it. Then Emsen, someone from Super Valiant, always was just able to find a way to turn it around.
Well, here we go into the second half. Execration with a minor advantage, but always tend to be that the winner of the first half becomes the winner of the entire map. EVA Team doing a little different than what Execration were, just the single sniper starting off.
Yeah, well, it's very rare you see the double sniper, isn't it, really? Especially on the defense. But no snipers at all for Global Risk Team at the moment. EVA Team just cruising around with the 5 AKs. See what they can get done. They've got the little hitman squads here. Try and pincer in Kimuro.
Well, Rambo and Bean starting off nicely. Kimuro, the player you spoke about, has actually managed to work his way out, but he'll be traded out indeed. EVA Team have done a good enough job this time, as there is player advantage for them, and the B-bomb site opened up. Maxim needs to get in there. Just not aware of it just yet, waiting for his team. Perhaps that's the correct decision.
The B site was open, though, for a period of time, Jordan. They've allowed the rotate to come in from Carlito. Now he's just poised, ready, waiting. The strike bomb starts to be planted. The cover isn't there, and he's going to get the kill.
Yeah, but the trade. That's fine from EVA Team. Obviously, it would have been nice if he didn't go down, but 2v1. Still very winnable here for EVA Team. Cart gives away his position, but grabs a kill into Maxim, turns it into a 1v1, and he'll get it as well. A huge clutch for Execration. He'll get the defuse across in time as well.
Yeah, definitely one of the better players in the server card. I think he's got an opportunity here to really lead from the front when it comes to this Execration team. And that's exactly what they needed. And like I said, Jordan, you can see on the faces of the EVA Team, I think they're done. I think they're out of this.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, Card is one of the more experienced players in the roster as well. He's been playing for 7 years, which is almost longer than I've been alive, it feels like. But for Execration, they do have quite a few guys in that roster that have a fair few years under their belt. Same can be said for EVA Team, of course, as well. But Card, I think, is definitely the one that we'd look to on this Execration roster because of the pedigree and his experiences on Pacific Magda.
And just how good he is across the board as an individual, really. I mean, he's really, time and time again, outperforming the rest of his team. And that was in a lot stronger team, you might say, in Pacific Magda. So seeing him in Execration now, definitely something new.
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen if that is a stronger team, you know, like maybe Execration.
Well, they're not here, are they?
Exactly.
Card
maybe
is.
Execration wins this year.
Yeah. Let's see, Modern with a beautiful shot there, holding long single-handedly. No crossfire needed, ladies and gentlemen. As Cart on the aggression, just like Botcons, but little difference is he's doing it through the middle doors. And Rambo is poised, waiting, ready for it. He thinks better of it, falls back. And now we should see, with a minute left on the clock, the execution onto the A site. I think Execration are well aware of it. They still have 4 players and thereabouts, with one in the blacklist spawn.
Pretty nice grenade. Very well placed.
Bean is on a good spot too to flank out, maybe get Rambo. Oh, not get his teammate, but get Cart. Just to his right. And the timing is off. Cart going to try and get more, but it's taken down.
Yeah, no trade available there for Ares either, but still favourable enough for Execration.
Still 35 seconds left, Jordan, and they haven't really
Not much
said where
time.
they're going.
We'll need a big explosion out from Execration.
Yeah, and
from EVA Team, rather.
Rambo's going to have to get 2 kills here, 1 versus 2. As soon as he spots out that second player towards A long, then they're going to fall back towards B.
I mean, EVA Team need to get the ball rolling right now. There's 15 seconds left, and if this doesn't work for them, if this execution into the B site doesn't pay off, they're going to be done and dusted. Botcons will fall in mid. That's Ares finding the kill. And there's another one for Execration. Bomb is dropped. It's not winnable now for EVA Team. The round is over. Execration very pleased with that.
And there's that yelling again. So I think EVA team will definitely be feeling that. It's very upsetting when you lose a round, maybe in some contention, very close, and the other team's just yelling out, "Nice, well done, that was too easy." So EVA team under a lot of pressure right here to try and stay out of that loser bracket for the group of death. You don't want to be in there,
No, you
Jordan.
definitely don't. It could be your death, really, if you lose this match. And at the moment, EVA team is certainly poised to. Execration it really feels like the momentum has shifted a little bit. You know, it was pretty close for a little while, but Execration all of a sudden much stronger than EVA team by the looks.
Just haven't seen enough out of EVA team. I mean, their defense was pretty weak. They gave up a couple of easy rounds. They lost a couple of clutches, and then there you go. That's it. Execration find themselves in the lead. Great defense that last round. EVA team just stuck, wandering the map, looking for somewhere to go, but couldn't find any holes in the defense. This time, Rambo on the front, on the tip of the spear. The point man with the AWP, or the AWM. Oh, spots him out, but I'm not sure he was able to get him through that wall shot. And here comes the utility, maybe faking that attack onto the A side. Instant rotate does come out from Execration. They'll find Cart now in the spawn. And here comes the double pump, Jordan.
Yeah, Cart finding the first, and Execration looking good to hold the bomb site. They have a lot of players there right now, but EVA team still making their way in. Charlito dancing around the cover.
Wow.
We'll be able to find one, but at the moment, Maxim is going absolutely ham for EVA team and finishes things off.
There you go.
First round in the second half for EVA team.
Something for them to cheer about finally. EVA team deal with that very well. Execration really not in a great spot to cover off a four-man push towards short. Well, now it's time for maybe that B execute that we rarely see. Again, where is this crossfire on the B side? It's just Rambo. Camiro, Modern pushed up on short, just like Potcons was. So a bit of their own medicine. Camiro dodges that flash. Okay, so this is where you want to see the rotate coming in now. You want Ares coming across with that AWM. That sniper, try and get it into the window of B. Camiro holding outside B as well now. So B is completely left open. Afraid of this execute from EVA team with their set flash grenades.
We'll push out from Modern right now. He'll spot Rambo, and in the meanwhile, Ares has actually picked up Bean. So far things working out for Execration.
Wow.
All at the same time. They push across the map, and it catches EVA team off guard just a little too slow.
EVA team were in the middle of doing their B execute, and they had to just stop because the rotate came in from Execration. They read it perfectly. And now we've got just Chimero here on the B site. Will lose his life in the 1v1.
Bukon going to try and salvage this one for his team, but he won't have enough. Cart will finish him off through the wall. And it's just Maxim left alive now for EVA team. Seems like hope is starting to fade for them. This will be an 8th round up on the board for Execration, and that's where I think you can really start to feel that the match is starting to slip away.
Gonna have to see what's going through the mind of Maxim here. He just wants an easy kill, and Execration would be very silly to give him one. You can see Cart's just going to come in, finish the job off with Modern there. That nice bait and switch play that we see often. And Execration very close to sealing the deal here.
2 rounds away.
Yep. And okay, so Bomb again going towards that B site early on. Very forward pick by Chimero. And looking now towards middle, we got, so basically it's just a full B side of the map pincer. Very forward defense from Execration. See if the thing is their forward defense has been calculated and they haven't really been punished, have they, Jordan? I mean, looking at the scores as well, I mean, you can see across the board, everyone's playing very well. And then you've got Cart standing out head and shoulders above the rest.
Exactly. Player that we've talked about quite a lot so far today, and with good reason. Into the B-bomb site goes EVA team, but perhaps they actually don't go into the B-bomb site as they've really been shut down. Botcons on the pincer strike on the flank has managed to make something happen, but it's really not going to be enough. Execration 2v1 now for them.
Bean ties it up early, gets one. Now he's on a 1 versus 2. Charlito and Ares. It's going to be very hard. One of them obviously having the sniper.
Well, EVA team need this win, don't they?
Absolutely. They need everything they can get because Execration are just mopping the floor with them. They read that it was a B site execute, the 2 towards middle and 3 towards B. And that's it. Yeah, Execration can taste it now.
1 round away now for Execration, and that's why I say they needed that round win. It's map point now for Execration and EVA team. The team that came second at last year's CFS Grand Finals, potentially going to be knocked into the lower bracket of their first match in a fairly convincing fashion as well, 10-5.
Oh, absolutely.
Would not complain about that one if I was Execration, and it looks so solid for them right now in this second half that I think that is going to be the scoreline. Odin with a push on forward, does win the aim battle against Kukon, will be traded out, but there's another player there from Execration. This time it's Kart to trade himself.
Trade himself.
And it's 2-for-1 overall favourable for Execration in that small exchange.
It's all happening here, Jordan. You've got to think about it this way. EVA's tournament life is on the line here because they go into that loser bracket. They're going to be up against someone who's going to be in that top 4 position. So this is why it's called the group of death. 2 versus 4. 2 versus 4. What can happen? Been a little bit quiet. Starting to make some noise now.
Yeah, certainly is. 2 kills for him. Turns it back into a 2v2. And the quick rotation over to the B bomb site here from EVA Team.
They would need a super Valiant style comeback to get it back into this game and to win it.
They do have a smoke for the cross as well, but already Cart has managed to actually get up into the site through the doors. He'll find Botcons and Bean, and that is the map done and dusted. It's Execration. It will knock EVA Team down into the lower bracket, 10-5. A very, very convincing scoreline.
Absolutely. I mean, look, from the get-go, it looked very close, didn't it? It was going one apiece, here, there, and then all of a sudden, like we said, EVA Team just got a little bit too confident on their defense, and when they switched over, it just wasn't good enough because their attack, it just looked very uncalculated, uncoordinated. They weren't across the map. They weren't trying to do what we saw earlier with RE Legends, where they tried to figure out what was going on before they went in. It was just, let's try a B, let's try A, let's try B, and it just seemed that Execration had their number.
Yeah, it was surprising, really, when you consider how quite even it was at the start. And now, Execration, there were some question marks on them coming in. We hadn't seen them in this type of world stage before, and now here they are, 10-5 up against EVA Team, last year's runners-up. That's incredible.
Well, that definitely answers the questions a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, yeah, maybe there's other teams in here that you do want to see Execration go up against before you really put them on that same level, maybe a specific marker when it does come to these grand finals. But to be able to get a win over EVA Team, I think that really is a very, very strong result to start off with for Execration, for me at least.
Again, best of one.
Yep.
Maybe not a map that EVA Team are known for, or think that's their best in the pool, but a huge confidence boost for Execration, and I'm just glad I got a correct prediction.
Yeah, you're starting off pretty well, Ian.
Yeah.
You're 2 from 2 now. I think that's the first time for everything as well. I can't remember the last time you got 2 correct predictions in a row, but yeah, definitely going to be surprising some people, particularly I suspect the players from EVA Team.
Yeah, definitely. I've been speaking of players of EVA Team. I don't think any of them really stepped up necessarily as much as we had expected or had seen last year. We saw moments from Botcons, moments from Rambo, but
Kukon
it was nothing that really led us to believe that they were going to win that matchup. And
they did not look like the powerhouse team that would take down a potential Chinese giant.
And they didn't look like Cart either. I mean, Cart was just phenomenal that whole time for Execration. And he was the difference, I felt.
Is he your MVP for this
Certainly,
game,
yeah,
Jordan?
definitely. Yeah, no questions asked.
What about you, Ian?
Yeah, definitely would have to go Cart. I mean, I was riding the Cart, horse and cart before this game even started. So to see him actually deliver the way that he did was fantastic.
Well, it's going to be a tough road now for EVA Team, dropping down into the lower bracket, as particularly in this group.
Yeah, this group.
You do not want to be there. That makes you more games you have to play.
All gamers.
Yeah.
Black Dragons as well. So both of those teams are very capable when it comes to versing EVA Team. So we're going to see a giant go down now.
Yeah, that's a pretty big start for them. For the Philippines, though, they're going to be pretty excited. The Execration supporters, I'm sure back home, are cheering for them. That's a great result. Not only did they come out with the victory here, they came out with a 10-5. It's not like you just got it across the line. It's not like you just nipped them at the post.
Yeah.
That was quite dominating.
Definitely, very dominating. I mean, it wasn't really even close at all from EVA Team, apart from, I would say, the first 6 to 8 rounds of the match. And we know the Philippines region has some very, very keen fans. That is definitely a region where if they're going to be getting wins on the board, they're going to be getting messages from the fans saying great work, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And that's going to elevate you. That's going to boost you up in your next match.
Yeah, that's exactly where you want to be, certainly coming into this competition. We have a brief chat. We touch on the next game. It's going to be a bit of a river. We've got Super Valiant Gaming coming up against Penta Sports. look, I think I don't want to get ahead of it, but potential there for Super Valiant to come through. I'm interested to see now that EVA teams come and struggled at the first hurdle. Does that put pressure on teams like Super Valiant who are going, oh, look, you know, is this what happens if you're not prepared?
Well, not right now. I mean, I think the pressure's always going to be there for these Chinese teams. But yeah, exactly. The MVP here for this game is Kart, as you can see on the screen. 21 kills, 7 headshots, 10 deaths. So we've already made our general consensus that he was the MVP anyway. And what we say
It's good
goes.
to see production agree.
Yeah. What we say goes, really. I can't wait to see that unfold later on when we're like, this person's the MVP. But no, damn right, it was Kart. So just to get back onto that. But yeah, Super Valiant, pressure's always on. Chinese team, you got a lot to prove, a lot of pressure on the fans. And they got probably more fans than any other nation. So yeah, definitely.
I think coming into this as well, this is a great start considering how we saw AU Legends come through, really quite successful. Like, is this what we're going to see? Is it going to be the teams who did well last year dominating here in 2018? And maybe that's not going to be the case now. We've already had perhaps a little bit of an upset.
Yeah, no, I, in my opinion, it is an upset. Ian obviously would disagree, but I think that you can obviously see the sense in EVA team being the second place team from last year would have wanted to get a better performance in that first
A lot changes in a year, Jordan.
Yeah,
12 months is a damn long
Not their
time.
roster, apparently.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
know.
the exact same team, but they haven't been able to manage to do too much there. So all in all, a great start for the Philippines region, a great start for the Russian region, and now we get to see whether it'll be a good start for the Chinese and European region.
Yeah, that game is done and dusted as well. Next up, it's Panda Sports up against Super Value Gaming. We're back right after this.